What it do, man? It's your boy Marcel P. Black, back from a long hiatus from the Really Outchea podcast. But this is gonna be a little different. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be the Really Outchea podcast, uh, 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 slash the Black DLMA podcast. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. You, whatever you see on the damn flyer on Instagram, that's what we're gonna call it. You know what I'm saying? But today, man, I'm blessed to have a super duper special guest. You know what I'm saying? My man, straight out of Kentucky, of the legendary CunninLynguists group. You know what I'm saying? Deacon the villain. Say what's up, man.
All right, what up? What up? Appreciate you, man. Good looking for having me on.
All right, that's what's up, man. Hey, bro, it's an honor and a pleasure. So the first question I asked, it might seem kind of weird, but there's a reason why I asked this question, right? Um, do you remember how you first became familiar with me or my music? And I'll tell you how I got familiar with yours.
It was through your homie Donnie Rose.
Got you.
You know, before you did, it was before you did the podcast that I produced for him.
Mm-hmm.
Just working with him at the North Star and Sean King and the activist space. You know, I was doing all the podcast production for them, and Donnie would bring you up all the time. You know what I'm saying? So by the time you even hit me up to work, I was already familiar just for working with him for 2, 3, 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Him sending songs and me doing my own research. But it definitely, I got shout out to Donnie Rose, amazing writer, amazing
That's my
poet.
brother.
You know,
He gave me. He was the first person. So when I came to Southern, I came to Southern 2002. So about 2 or 3 years later, I was always see him like doing poetry on campus at Southern. He had different events around town or whatever. And like what really hit me to him was he had gotten so like MTV Spring Bling or something like that. One of them MTV spring break things that came to Southern's campus, and he was in a freestyle competition and murdered everybody. And I like this little bitty dude like is vicious. You know what I'm saying? He told one dude it was a cap. He called him. Daddy told him he was the Kappa decapitator. I said, "Woo!" You know what I'm saying? Like
oh,
off the top though,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
And
sound about right.
so one day he was in Southern Student Union at the McDonald's, and I saw him sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm a big guy, right? I'm a big guy. And Donnie's he's a small guy, and so he's sitting down eating or whatever, and I just kind of walk, super duper country, straight out of Oklahoma red dirt. You know what I'm saying? And hey man, I rap, man. I'm in a group. I want to be on one of your events. He's looking at me like, okay, like man, let me rap for you. You know what I'm saying? Really, really aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I give him a CD. Date myself. I give him a CD and a business card.
And your
and
pager number.
yeah. And we just started ciphering back and forth in McDonald's. And and
Nice.
so when the time came up, he put me on an event, and we started rocking together ever since. You know what I'm saying? So like he's the one who taught me kind of like how to like take my artistry seriously. You know what I'm saying? And like really what he taught me was how to like book shows, like how to
Right.
like go to the venue. So yeah, big shout out to Donnie Rose, man. Like I figured that's what it was, but I always ask that question. Um, I learned about CunninLynguists through I'm a my all time favorite group is Little Brother. My all time
Nice.
favorite rapper is Fonte.
Nice.
So back in the the ending days of LimeWire and downloaded music, I would just go Google anything Little Brother, Google anything Fonte. I mean, Google but search anything, and I found the song he has with you guys with
Yellow
Witch
line.
Doctor. Yep.
Yellow lines. Yep.
Yeah, with Witch Doctor. I'm like,
Yep.
where have these guys been all my life? Like, I'm upset that I have not heard of this group. You know what I'm saying? And I went back. I got caught up on y'all's whole discography and became a huge fan, man. So
Appreciate that.
I absolutely, man.
Shout
Like
out Fonte.
Fine Tigger, man. That's my guy, man. That's my
Nigga
guy.
low.
All right, so um, your rap name is Deacon the Villain. I saw that you grew up in the church. Your father's a pastor.
Right.
So my father, God bless his soul, was a gospel musician. I definitely grew up in the church as well. So my question to you is, how did growing up in the church influence your artistry as an MC and a producer?
I mean, first and foremost, I believe some of the greatest musicians on earth are in the Black Gospel Church. No matter your belief, if you are a music fan and you hear real gospel musicians throw down, top tier, it's some of the best musicians in the world are in Black churches across America. Thing is, a lot of them only do gospel, so you got to go there to get it. You know what I'm saying? But since a young age, my father put me in the booth to run sound. So since I was 14, I've ran sound at hella Black churches, my whole life. And there's an ear training that goes on when you have to be completely attentive to what's going on musically inside of that church. So I'm at the choir rehearsals. I'm at all the after church events, the battle of the choirs, the everything. So when the choir director is teaching the sopranos, the and the tenors and the altos, the 3-part harmonies, I'm learning them too. When the breakdowns in the songs, the bridges, the vamps, the song arrangements, all of that had been soaking into me from a young age, and that I feel like is probably the biggest influence that I had musically, even though I've always been somebody who listened to every genre that exists, just that church experience gave me what I consider to be a leg up when it came to, writing melodic hooks and adding harmonies and rap and, things that ain't always been the most common. I just always just approached it with reckless abandon. Like my pops being a preacher, he never limited me to being a Christian rapper. He was just like, hey, this is your life, it's your world. I ain't here to tell you what to believe. I ain't tell you, but all I ask is that you display all your God-given gifts. Whatever you choose to do, make sure you show everything you can do. So if you can sing, sing. If you can do this, do that, So that freedom coming out of the church space, I think it shaped everything, from production to rap to content to everything. I never considered myself a Christian rapper, but there's always been substance in what I do. Outside of when I first started rapping, it was I was listening to Snoop and you know
Right.
and finding my way. So if you go back far enough, you're gonna find some songs full of debauchery. But once I really got my feet under me, it was important to me to have substance, to feel like I'm offering some food for people's souls. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that came from the church experience as well.
And like your cadence sounds like a pastor. Like the way you like, I can tell you pops is a pastor, but like the way you rap, the way you phrase stuff. Like for me, like I'm a type of artist where it's like, uh, I'm not the punchline heavy guy. I'm not the metaphor heavy guy. I always say my style. I'm more preacher than poet for me. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? But that comes from the church. That comes from, like I said, my father being a gospel musician, and I'm at somebody's revival. I'm at somebody's church program. I'm at church every Sunday, and that's what you hear. So like like to me, the way you even write is like is I mean, and I say that, but you like I saw somewhere and they were talking about MCs with the largest vocabularies, and like CL was on there, you and Natty was on there.
right.
Like I want to say they said Aesop Rock has like the largest like
Yeah, yeah,
words,
yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, and Wu
but
Tang.
yeah, but they said y'all were like in the top 15. You know what I'm saying? As far as so like, and I think that's what, to me, that's what makes you guys special, because like um it goes against so much of what they think of Southern hip hop artists.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Like it goes against that so much, which kind of leads me to my next question, right? So like um very similar to like where I grew up at in Oklahoma, Kentucky. Now I remember watching Rob Jackson on BET Uncut when I was in high school. But even
yo,
then, And even then, like I want to say, wasn't there something the single he had? I want to say, wasn't it a sample of Born to Roll?
All right, so he had Breaking Sketty, which featured Bun B. And then he had Boom Boom Boom, which featured Lady May. So he had
I
those
remember.
was the,
Okay, it was okay. It was Boom Boom Boom. I remember. So that to me, that didn't sound for whatever it was. It didn't sound like uh I don't know. Like there wasn't nothing you could pinpoint to it as far as the sound. And so it's like for you, like growing up in Kentucky, you know what I'm saying? Like what was hip hop culture like coming up, and like being that you're in a place that wasn't known for like a national sound. Well, at least to my knowledge, like what was it like uh trying to like come up as an MC, you know what I'm saying, coming from Kentucky.
it's always been a melting pot, because like you said, Kentucky's not known for nothing but horses and bourbon and basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And we the top of the South. We a part of the state is considered Midwest. Um, we always were a mix of everything. So growing up, we all listened to everything, whether it was Bay Area rap, whether it was LA rap, whether it was Texas rap, whether it was Florida bass, whether it was East Coast, whether it was Midwest, Chicago, Detroit. We listened to it all evenly and equally. So because of that, growing up here, the city I live in Lexington now. I'm from Versailles, which is just outside of Lexington, and I'm just speaking for the Lexington area, what we call Central Kentucky.
Mm.
Growing up here, the sounds around the city was just as diverse as the sound was in '90s hip hop. You had your groups that sounded like they was from No Limit. Then right beside a group that sounded like Wu Tang. Right beside a group that sounded like, you know, Stebo, from or Mac Mall or somebody, Selly Cell, So we always had everything equally represented, but what was common was lyricism. No matter what style you brought, rappers could rap, and words were important, and we was never afraid to show vernacular and show how deep our word knowledge went. We wasn't even thinking about it. It was just who we were. I guess it was the heavy East Coast influence getting the same respect as the heavy down south influence and the West. Everybody got the same respect, and we took what we thought was the best from each area, the best thing about each area, and put it into our music. So bars, metaphors, similes, all that was always important. Just being the best wordsmith possible was always important. So it was a little bit of everything.
Since we talk about Kentucky basketball, are you Louisville or UK? UK?
UK, man.
You know
UK.
what, man? I'm riding with Kentucky because I used to rock with the Patino version
Right.
of Louisville. You know what I'm saying? A Louisville, but you know,
In Kentucky, it's Louisville versus everybody. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So you got Louisville, and then you got the rest of the state. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much, if you live outside of Louisville, you are a Kentucky Wildcat fan.
Got you. It's like that with in Ohio. It's like that with Cincinnati. Like don't nobody fool with Cincinnati in Ohio. Nobody like they are on their own, bro.
Cincinnati is damn near Kentucky's second
Right,
biggest city. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
for real.
Facts, right there. I was talking to my partner in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. Like going in from Kentucky into Cincinnati, I don't know what highway that is, but that is the most beautiful skyline. When you come
It's
across
the
that
it's, yeah,
bridge,
it's a dope. Yeah, it's a dope skyline. You
I
know,
love it, bro. That's one of my favorite
and the
skylines. I've
Cincinnati
done.
airport is in Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? That's how
Yep.
Kentucky Cincinnati is.
I always fly into. I used to do. I would fly into Louisville, and then I would do Cincinnati, and then I would do Columbus, and then I would then that's how I used to always route it or
Yeah,
whatever.
some
And
nice
so
route.
like whenever I came back in, whenever I came into Cincinnati, I would come across that bridge with that beautiful skyline. I haven't been to Louisville since I let me see, because I was supposed to go in 2022, but it's the venue got the night got canceled. But I haven't been since before the pandemic. I got to go since I ain't too much closer, but I'm a whole lot closer from Louisville than I was in Louisiana.
Yeah,
Um,
facts.
you said something else there too. Um, so like what other type of music? Like of course, like Kentucky, like of course you got like country music, but like and like bluegrass, but like what about like is there like a culture of like blues music and funk music out there or
Culture of everything, man. Like the melting pot wasn't just a rap thing; it was
got
every genre thing. So you got your blues, you got your country, you got your funk, you got your reggae, you got your rock, you got. I mean, there's cold jazz players. It's and everybody. It's a very collaborative space. So like throughout even our years in CunninLynguists, we use people from every genre all throughout our music. All the live instrumentation throughout our music is people from rock, from country, from blues, from gospel, you know, jazz. Everybody's welcome. The studio door is always open. No matter who's making what. You know,
and
it's just
then you throw that church influence in there that you came up under too, which gives you the
mhm.
ear for all of it.
Yeah, because gospel is that
Yeah,
melting pot of music. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of everything in gospel. So
exactly, bro. Um, so I kind of touched on this earlier today when I talk about like, a lot of people. So I'm gonna give you an example. So when I was in Louisiana, you know what I'm saying, and once I kind of like decided I wanted to like build my fan base and expand outside of Louisiana, I'm hitting promoters up, I'm hitting venues up, I'm hitting festivals up, and they see I say that I'm an independent underground conscious hip hop MC for Baton Rouge, and people was like, nah, I don't believe that shit. All I know is little, all I know is little Boosie. Now imagine this. Not, thank God, as it pertains to like the new underground chitlin circuit, I've made a name for myself. But I imagine it might have been a little bit more difficult with my thing saying I'm coming from Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
and
yeah,
I definitely deal with like some there's absolutely like anti-Southern bias. You know what I'm saying? Like
for
when you
sure,
come to hip hop,
for
you know what I'm
sure.
saying? So for you in particular, now we're getting into some of the Black DLMA stuff. Like, what has been or what is some of the most frustrating things about being like an underground hip hop MC from the South?
The best way I could sum it up is telling about the transition we made from our second album, which was called Southern Underground, to our third album, which was A Piece of Strange. After our first two albums, a lot of people found it hard to believe that we were from the South at all. You know what I'm saying? And we would have fans come up to us and say things, and interviewers, and come and say things like, you all are the only things that we like from the South. You all's music is so intelligent, and your words are so good, and outside of you all, there's nothing good about the South. That's basically what they were saying, and they didn't understand. They dissing our whole entire heritage and culture. They dissing
Understood.
our biggest influences came from the South. So like when we put out after Southern Underground, we made a conscious decision with A Piece of Strange and Dirty Acres to show our Southern influence as much as possible and still stay true to who we was. And at first that kind of shocked our fans, like they didn't like it, but we didn't care. That's when we went out and got the Witch Doctors and got the Fontaines and got the Killer Mikes and the Big Rubes and all those folk, because we was like, look, we are from the South, we love the South, and if you don't love the South, you don't love us. That was like kind of our attitude, and still is till this day. That's never changed, like for real.
It's
We
funny, like
unapologetically Southern.
it's like I don't understand how, and it's crazy because like I'll be honest with you, man. Like early on, listening to y'all's records, like you and Natty, y'all's voice is so similar to me.
To,
Like
to a
like
lot
like
of
like
people,
like
for sure.
so for you, I feel like you're a little bit more melodic. That's how I can tell you the difference. You're a little bit
Yeah,
more melodic. You have more of like a kind of like that church that swing to it. You know what I'm saying?
swing, yeah.
But yeah, but y'all's and that's what I love about it. I love my favorite genre of hip hop. Like if when people ask me like my top 5 hip hop groups, it's gonna be Little Brothers, it's gonna be Dead Prez, it's gonna be y'all, it's gonna be Outkast, it's gonna be Goody Mob.
All Southern.
All of a sudden they be like, "What about Daylight, man? I no roots. I mean, there ain't no diss, but for me, I love Southern underground. Call it underground backpack, whatever, boom bap. I love it. Like I look I love Strange Fruit Project out in Fort Worth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
My mentor, Truth Universal down in New Orleans. Like that is I'm a Justice League stan. You know what I'm saying? So like I I superstition. So so it's really funny, man. Like the way this orbit works. So it's certain people that like I've worked with, and every time I look on one of you guys, be it a retail album or one of your sloppy seconds or one of your strange journeys, like I've worked with Substantial, I've
right.
worked with Superstition. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So it's like a lot of people that are like just in y'all's orbit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
is this that I'm just kind of either huge fans of or like people that I've done records with, done shows with, and things of that nature. You know, I've done records. I'm real cool with Murphs, and I've seen he's been on y'all
Not.
stuff before.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? But I love that's my favorite thing, and it's like groups like y'all. It's like Big Chris said it a bit. Geography lottery is a thing.
Definitely.
It definitely is, and so like I saw that. So you met No in Atlanta, right?
Correct.
And it was you know and SOS,
Yep.
and then SOS after he left
Southern.
before Piece of
Yeah,
he
he
left
left
after
right.
Southern Underground.
Yep.
So like, what was that transition like? With like SOS kind of like fading back, and then Natty stepping up, like as far as like, and I know you said like a change of direction as far as like you wanted to be like decidedly more Southern, but now you're doing another album with like a new group member. You know what I'm saying? So like, what was that transition like?
It was real easy because me and Natty, me and No have always been the type to do side projects and be involved with other groups of people making other types of music, and with CunninLynguists being the cornerstone. But we never stopped each other from experimenting. So me and Natty was in a group. We had formed a group during the recording of Southern Underground called Kinfolk, and it's
Okay.
spelled Kynfolk. So that is what us forming that group and No hearing Natty rap in that group is what made him ask, "Hey man, can that fella be a little more involved in what we got going on?" So in the beginning stages, SOS was going to be a part of A Piece of Strange, and Natty was just going to be like, how when Ghostface or Raekwon put out an album, in the bottom corner it might say featuring Ghostface or featuring Raekwon because they on so many songs. We can't list your feature throughout the whole track list. Your name is gonna be here 12 times. So
Right.
that's kind of like the role he was gonna take on A Piece of Strange. He was just gonna be a friend of ours that rapped a whole lot on the album. But then, some things happened to where we parted ways with SOS. We still got love for SOS. I talk to him all the time. But when that happened, um, we decided to make Natty an unofficial member. So on A Piece of Strange, technically he's an unofficial member. He still ain't technically a member of the group yet, but he rapped on so many songs that we just we treated him as an unofficial member. And then by Dirty Acres, we were like, okay, yeah, you on board, you on the team. But the transition was smooth. I mean, because in the beginning he was in the studio with us and SOS. SOS dropped verses for A Piece of Strange that we just didn't put on the album.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause we was all together. So it was a smooth transition, and Natty can rap to anything. And he's also, what made him unique was me and No, we grew up listening to and studying underground rap. Natty didn't know nothing about underground rap. Natty came from the streets. I mean, Natty, when he became an unofficial member, he was only about 3 months out of prison.
I saw that. I saw an interview where you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was showing up just as just a street dude, you know what I'm saying, that loved the rap, and he was in a rap group before he went to prison that was kind of East Coast vibes here in Lexington called Mad Militia. We always called them Lexington's Wu Tang because it's like 30 of them, but they could all rap their ass off. So he showed up, and in the beginning, Natty was actually a double time rapper. So he was even rapping to a unfamiliar tempo, really. But
Mm.
he was just so gifted and so skilled as a lyricist that he proved that he can just rap to anything. Still proves that to this day.
My daughter.
I might have
Um,
I might have an interruption myself. I just heard my girlfriend
yeah,
coming.
she left a Stanley Cup up here. So another friend. So the first people who I was really a fan of from Kentucky was Nappy Roots. So
Right.
like, were y'all like coming up? Were y'all like active in the scene at the same time in Kentucky?
No, no, because I would say Nappy Roots started to make headway before CunninLynguists was even truly formed. You know, I learned about Nappy Roots actually when I lived in Atlanta and I was going to Morehouse College before I even met No in a Billboard magazine. I was
Mm,
just flipping through a Billboard magazine and saw this group from Kentucky. It came out with, I think it was called like Chicken, Watermelon, and Grits. I
mm-hmm.
can't remember the name of their first project. And I was just blown away to hear about somebody besides Rob Jackson, because Rob's like a GOAT to us, you know what I'm saying, in Kentucky. But somebody beside Rob Jackson making moves in the industry. And not long after we formed, luckily we kind of made an impact pretty quick and strong, at least in Kentucky. And when Nappy Roots heard about us, luckily they was cool and they reached out and always supported us. They put us on bills. We opened up for them. What they was already on, they already had all now all out. And some of they big hits. And yeah, they always showed us love, and they even got on one of our mixtapes, a couple
The
of them.
KKKY remix. Yep.
Yeah, the KKKY remix, and I've done some songs with them because when I lived in Atlanta for on and off for 19 years, and they kind of relocated to Atlanta. So down there, I kind of got to do songs with them. Working with other local acts that might have me and some Nappy Root members on a song of theirs. So the brotherhood between us just build and build and build and build, and we just super cool to this day.
Back in 2013, um, I was able to Nappy Roots did a show in Baton Rouge, and
Mm-hmm.
I was able to open for him. I got to find that footage somewhere. But that was like that's kind of when I really started kind of like making my name and like stepping outside of just like doing local rap stuff. So I was like one of the first big groups I got a chance to open up for, and it was just me and my partner Alfred Banks, who is, he's from New Orleans. He's out of here now, whatever. But that was really good. Like them dudes is real. Like I'm like I love like don't get it twisted, man. Like as a Southerner, I love country rap tunes. I do, right?
Right.
You know, but I love country backpack shit. I love like I love like and then even with like boom bap hip hop, like Southern producers, they chop it differently. Like to me, like the whole Justice League
Sure.
and the Ninth Wonder sound, it's a different way they chop those soul samples, right?
Yeah,
The way No is one of the greatest loopers. I think I posted this on Facebook and it went viral kind of, but like No is one of the most underrated, you know what I'm saying, producers
for
ever.
sure.
But the way them loops, like the loop on oh gosh, when
Nah,
worlds
he's
fall apart, even on the new one, on when your world falls apart. Come on, man.
he's
And
a
then I'm
loop.
gonna tell
He's
you.
a loop miner, like for
Let,
real.
let me tell you this. So right, so during the pandemic, there was an exchange student. Well, it was a guy. He's from Zimbabwe, and he he was like studying at LSU, and he was studying hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He was whatever studying his PhD, but like he had like a hip hop themed whatever it was, his dissertation. And he's underground hip hop head, bro. Shout out to Unkosi. We riding, and I play Caved In, and he hears it. He's like, "Yo, what is this, bro? What is this?" Like he hears it, and like I've always heard it and just thought, hey, it's African. I don't know what it is, but it sounds good. And like he lost his shit when he told. I can't remember what he told me what it meant. But as far as like, but it was a song that was like, I guess, really big amongst like the tribes where he was from. And
Wow.
he like lost his shit. Like yo, this is. And I can't remember. It's been 3 or 4 years at this point. But like he really lost it. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, see, look, man, look. And like that's like, and then like, come on, man, with the CeeLo Green on the hook, like man, and the Kanye before he went crazy. sample.
Yeah. Before he went crazy.
Yeah, but man, the way No put it together, man, and that's what makes like I love y'all's music because it gives you so much. Like you hear all the influences, you hear all the culture, you hear all the different styles, and it's still Southern. And it's like to me, it's a big fuck you to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, y'all, because Muhammad Ali from Kentucky, man. Like all the revolutionaries, all the civic right leaders, hell, all the gang leaders is from Louisiana, Texas. And I always say people like the South is the most diverse region. There's 13 different states.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's the most
is.
from like Navarroos don't sound like Pimp C. Pimp C don't sound like Luke. Luke don't sound like Truth Universal or
Yeah,
Little Brother.
yeah.
So
No, it's everything in the South. You
and
know,
and, and, and I and I think that's why I get so frustrated, man, as far as like y'all have no idea, man. Y'all have no idea, like, people don't understand our genius. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's our accent. You know, it's the Southern accent. You know, it's just it got equated with ignorance. You know,
I
but
think and I honestly I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but that accent is also the drip. You know, it's like it's the flavor. Yeah,
One of my favorite rappers is Juvenile
yeah,
because he put made it so like I always say like Juvenile, he made 400 degrees. To me, it's like one of the most like when it comes to me, hip hop is hip hop is honest self expression, which is a reflection of your environment,
right.
no matter where you're from. So that's why of course, I don't like all the young people stuff, but at the same time, I teach high school for a living, and so if a kid wants to rap like what he sees right now, 2025, it's not going to sound like it did when I was in high school in 2000. But I can't knock that because he's rapping his environment. All I
Right.
wanted to do is be good at what he does and express himself. But I always say, like Juvenile, I always say the 400 Degrees is probably the most purest hip hop album, but he wrote that shit like he never heard of the Bronx before. Like he wrote like he wrote that album like he had never been outside the Magnolia Projects. And to me, that's what made it so pure. He spoke in
Yeah.
that language or whatever. And I think like it's the accent. I always say to me, T.I. is one of the best MCs of all time, but they'll never
Hmm.
give it to him
They
because of his
never give
accent.
it to him because of his accent. But
Like
he's a
it's
word. If you was to go through his entire discography and do the same word count they did for us and ASAP Rock, I bet you Ti would make the list.
I've had damn near fist fights in barbershops because I argued that T.I. was a better MC than AZ. It's not close to me. It's
Yeah,
not
he
close.
for sure,
Like
for
especially if you go,
sure.
Especially if you look at discography. If we look
Yeah,
at
for
total bodies
sure,
of work, come on, man.
for
Like
sure. I mean,
like
AZ
AZ,
might have a couple verses you could put in the verses, but if they did a verse for verse, Ti gonna shock the world, especially if they
absolutely,
rapping acapella, like
absolutely.
for real.
Like man, I can go on about this all day. And also, I think on top of the accent, I also feel like just the way the Southerners have been portrayed. Like if you think about it, in the first motion picture films, you got Birth of a Nation, and the first time Southerners is being played as slaves and
Yep,
coons, and like the,
yep,
the first forms of pop culture in America was minstrel shows. So
yep,
the beginning of black entertainment has been based on Southern black folks being
yep,
buffoons.
yep, for sure. And to
It,
them,
it,
the only educated blacks, they left the South and went to Harlem and went to Chicago and went to other places, and everybody that stayed was just, you know, ignorant, you know.
so, and it sucks because I feel like I think that us as black folks, I feel like we unfortunately buy into that. And so, and I'm sure like you toured way more than me, not just stateside, but international side. And you know that the majority of our fan base does not look like us. Now I'm gonna ask you a very simple question that probably has no answer, but I have to ask you, and I'm asking every single artist, why can't we get black fans to be the majority at our shows, especially those of us who have like conscious or pro-black material content.
All right. The best way I can answer this question, and this is the way that I made peace with it. You know, a long time ago is the content that we put into our music is the Black experience. You know, like there's times where I get into debates about race with white folk and they struggle to have the conversation. And I tell them the reason why you struggle is you grew up in a house that didn't talk about race. Whereas if you Black, you learning about the concept of race from the moment from before you can even start talking. You're already getting the concept of race, its effects it's going to have on you, the effects it has on others, the way that the world is shaped around it, especially the country that we live in. So we have all as Black people, that's just been put in us since birth, whereas white folks didn't get that. So fast forward 20 years when we old enough to make music and put our Black experience into songs, and we choose the substantial route of putting substance into it, they the ones that are hungry for that truth. Whereas Black folks in general already got it. You know, um, white folks they gravitate to it like a moth to a flame. You know what I'm saying? It's just like there's light over there. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Black folks is like, you know, we've lived in the light. You know what I'm saying? We we got other things to explore. And the reverse side of that, the sad side of that is over time Black folks were denied that that true American dream, that true American pie, that picket fence, that um, that supremacy. Like we were denied that. So over the past 40, 50 years that hip hop has risen to what it is today, it's helped get us that. And that's in some ways been to our demise because we've in a lot of ways started to become like the people that oppressed us as far as what we are seeking out in life, which is just to live in pure celebration. You know, it's like we lived in pain for so long. Now that we get to celebrate a little bit of anything, that's all we want to do. You know what I'm saying? And the reverse side of that is white folks who got to live in that celebration for hundreds and hundreds of years finally got the flashlight pointed at them. So let's talk about y'all's inadequacies and demons and the problems y'all bring to this, and to help them deal with that fragility, as it's been coined, they come to our music. Like we're like a balm to help them understand the reality of life that we help them understand the delusion that they've got to live in for so long. You know what I'm saying? Well, Black people are well aware of this delusion, and they don't need to come to CunninLynguists or Marcel Black to hear about this delusion, this dilemma. We're aware of it. You know what I'm saying? White folk ain't so aware of it. They what I tell people all the time when they're like, "Oh, we've been lied to." Ain't nobody been lied to more than white folk by white folk.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And so we come, they gravitate towards our truth. The ones that are truth seekers, the ones that are more in touch with their soul experience here on earth, they gravitate to us because we bring in that truth. You know, that's just my theory.
No, I love it. I love it. I ask everybody this, and
Yeah,
every person who I interview, I ask them this. I'm going to because that's to me that's part of the Black dilemma, right? You know I teach history. I'm an educator. You know what I'm saying? And the way my students check, like even in my African American studies class, my best student is a white student.
you know,
He's when he you can't get kids to write their name, but if I have an essay question, he's gonna give me 400 words, right?
right.
In my hip hop studies class, one of my best students is a Mexican girl. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, and not even just like shows, man. Like as a touring artist, like I've been to the DMCs. The majority of the DJs are they're from Europe. They're Latino. They're Asian. Hell, from some of Iraq. I go to the DJ battles. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, the b boy competitions. And you might be lucky to see two or three black breakers. You know what I'm saying? The writers. It's like I think something that's not addressed enough is um, black folks have. I feel and that's why I push underground so much. But like even in the underground, like when it comes to like the real purists in the culture, unfortunately, black folks is the least amount. Now I get it. Like we're only 13% of the population, so by numbers, right, it's going to be less black folks because population wise, whatever. But at the same time, it's like I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of black folks have we've given up the underground to white folks. To like we're not. I don't feel like I don't feel like I don't feel like they come out and support, especially the shit that's actually talking about. Like you would think, like since Trump been in office, right? We didn't had all the police killings. We had the Black Lives Matter era. We went through 4 years of Trump in office, or whatever. Now we're in another four. You would think, and I understand. I understand how the music industry works, right? They don't want that shit or whatever. But also, I'm thinking like, all right, you would think that like even like on the song that we have together, I say if people with your politics would rather complain about mainstream rap instead of what it is you're saying, right? So you would think even like the grassroots organizations and like people who are actually doing stuff to try to make it better for Black America, that they would get more behind the music with the substance or whatever. Like I never rap in front of. I mean, I'm not a hotel, but I never rap in front of hotels. You know what I'm saying? I never rap in front. I very rarely get to rap in front of like when I go to like Little Rock, or when I go to like Memphis, or I go to Jackson and New Orleans, depending on what night. You know what I'm saying? Um,
The
but
same
I very rarely get to rap in front of an all black crowd.
thing.
And now, granted, you know what I'm saying? We've definitely, I mean, you guys more than me, definitely paid a couple mortgages and car notes and put our kids, you know, in the nice schools off of the white man's fan money. So I'm not knocking that. It's not, and not even about the money. Like I love all fans, right?
Right, right, right.
But for me, the Black Dilemma is being a underground conscious hip hop artist who is a part of like grassroots political organizations, be it the Party for Socialism and Liberation and Black Alliance for Peace. I am pushing a political line, right? And not even, you know, I don't expect NBA YoungBoy fans to go pick up a CL album or a Marcel P. Black album. But I'm curious as to why the people who, you know what I'm saying, do have these particular politics, you know, are not really supporting or listening to the people who are actually artistically articulating some of the exact same sentiments. You know what I'm saying? That they're pushing. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I think like I want to see black folks more involved in the culture because they've been
I
to the
get it.
music industry. They've been to the music industry. But like and then watching like all the mainstream rappers, like 4 or 5 years ago, Cube was at Design. He was a speaker at the Zionists for America. We see what Kanye got going on. We see Sexy Red. We see like I just saw today that even after Trump did, he he stopped. He took away Black History Month programs for federal whatever. He's doing a Black History Month program with motherfucking Lil Boosie and Rod Wave and you know what I'm saying. I'm watching. I stopped watching. It is what it is because Mason Cameron and Mike Tyson will go on about Trump. I stopped watching the Matt Hoffa podcast. You know what I'm saying because he's going on about Trump. And so it's like what the fuck is going on here? You know what I'm saying? So to watch the industry and famous and rich niggas, they going further right, damn near fucking with white supremacists. It's like,
And
you know,
that's what I'm talking about. That celebration, you know, it's like Negroes then got a taste of that American pie, and they then got hooked. You know that food addiction kicked in. You know, and they just want more and more and more of that pie. That's some of it, and also I think it's just it's trauma. It's being tired. You know, like when I first moved to Atlanta and living in Atlanta all them years, it was the first place I could ever go days or even weeks and say to myself, you know, I haven't even been thinking about the fact that I'm black. because there's so much black excellence here. There's so many black entrepreneurs. My doctor's black, my dentist's black, my mechanic's black, the person at the gas station is black, the person who owns the gas station is black. There's so much blackness. And in Kentucky, 92% white. Every single day you think about the fact that you black. Every, 15 minutes can't go by without me being like, oh yeah, this happened because, oh yeah, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? The world sees me as black, and that is a problem. Whereas like in Atlanta, blackness was so normal that it wasn't a problem, and it allowed you to relax and just be a human being. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's most black people's experience, is that they are their daily minute by minute reminders of their blackness. So yeah, there's daily minute by minute reminders of that blackness. So our music is just another reminder. You know what I'm saying? And we don't, even though we seeking to lift you up and we seeking to educate you, this, that, and the other, black people, I think in general, are trying to escape their blackness.
Well, see, so this is what tricks me. So I listen to, like, I try to. Some of it is it's just too crazy. But I try to listen to my students' music, right? And my kids, they dad is a hip hop head, so they know who Little Brother is, right? That's they. I don't know if you remember, but like for like a couple, like a year or so, Fonte Pooh was like, "Yo, we're not getting paid from the listeners, so don't listen to it." You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we were listening to it. So my daughter about 2 months ago was like, "Hey, Dad, can we listen to Little Brother again?" The Fonte said we can listen to it again. So like my kids grew up on the listening, right?
Right.
But with that said, the music that these kids are listening to is not really celebratory. It's all celebratory of Black death. So it's like when people say it's escaping trauma, everything they listen to is Black death. Everything is popping pills or is shooting another Black person or whatever, or is putting poison. So like if it was all like Nelly and Ja Rule type music, where it's just all about partying and a good life, but like no, it's and then the thing about it is like, to me, you know what I'm saying, for my taste, there's no skill to it. So it's not even, to me, like Biggie Small said nothing positive, right? Everything was about murder, death, hedonism, misogyny, drug selling, women
Yeah.
beating. Like even on Sky's the Limit, he called the women bitches and cut niggas with goddamn razor blades, right? His most positive song, right? But you you can enjoy the skill of it. You can enjoy the
Yeah.
artistry,
Yeah.
the pen. And so now, today's music, and I'm literally, I'm not trying to sound like no old head talking about it, but just listening to it, it's all negativity with no art, right? And so it's like
Definitely what's in the mainstream, outside of,
facts. But
outside
I'm
of the
just,
Kendricks and the J. Cole's,
but see, teenagers don't listen to that because they're
Yeah.
almost 40. So like
Yeah.
I'm talking about like I had, so when we were starting the hip hop studies class, there's one kid that's a rapper in the class, and then he actually gets failed in the class. He don't do shit in there. But I digress. That's a whole nother conversation. But
Hmm.
I asked him who was some of his favorite old school artists. He said Roddy Ricch. That nigga ain't even 25. So to them, like my students, they didn't give a damn about the Drake and Kendrick beat, because those guys are almost 40 to them. So they listen
Right.
to like Young Boy is an OG to them. I think he just turned 25, right? So like if okay, I'm about to go down another rabbit hole, but because of social media, because of streaming, if you think about it, we didn't have. So if you think about it, like you're a little bit older than me, so your perspective might be slightly different. But like when I was growing up as a teenager, there weren't many kid rappers, right? There was ABC, Chris Cross, and then years later you had Bow Wow, right? Now because of social media platforms and streaming and YouTube, like a teenager can get hot immediately, and you have
Right.
access to them every single moment. And so these teenagers have so much access. Like to me, when I was growing up, all my favorite rappers were 5 to 10 years older than me, and so I'm listening. When I'm 15, I'm listening to somebody anywhere from 25 to 30, right?
Hmm.
Because it wasn't that many 15-year-olds rapping, or at least had access to where I can get to it, right?
Right.
Now it's all teenagers rapping. Or if you're 16, your favorite rapper is probably 19 or 20 because there's more access to it. And so they're not going back to listen. They're not even listening to Kendrick, or they're not listening to Drake, or they're listen like none of that matters. Like when Busta Rhymes dropped that terrible album a couple years ago that he let Swizz Beats executive produce or whatever, and he doing records with the baby. He's trying to reach a younger audience. Man, kids don't listen to the baby. They don't. But I think I
Nah,
think that's I think that type of music is what white music execs think kids listen to. Like at least like when I was in Baton Rouge, even what I'm saying, they didn't listen to that. Like I remember when that Dirk, J. Cole did the song with Dirk was trying to be the positive songs. My students ain't listen to that shit. They didn't. Like
yeah,
that's not what we own or whatever. So I think, and what
yeah.
they're
It's
listening
hard
to,
for me to speak to the new generation. My opinion, I guess, is more about our age range demographic and
right?
why our age range black person is not showing up to our shows. You know what I'm saying? But what I hear, the parallel that I hear is I look at our music is when it in terms of it affecting the white crowd and the white mind is almost like we're giving them knowledge of self. We're giving white folks a rites of passage, and I think there's what I hear is missing from the upcoming generation is that the black teenager and adolescent is missing the rites of passage, that knowledge of self.
Because
You
there
know,
there is none. There is none. Like I just saw a video of it's a white kid in Utah, and he can't be 11, and he's saying nigga, blicking people down. To them that there is, like, I'm sure there is, right? I mean, just because I don't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. But like, for the most part, to my knowledge, youth culture of today is bereft of that, right? So it's like you're right, like some of these senators, what I'm saying, or whatever, or doctors, they grew up listening to hip hop. So as they get older, what I'm saying, they're there. But I don't think there's that level of balance for music today for
there's
kids.
not. There's not. I mean, there's not. I mean, I even said it on the track with you. Place ratchet over righteousness that we can fill a bus up. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
This
right,
is evident from here to Russia. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, and that's the system. That's the systematic side of it. Of course, the foolishness, the debauchery, the celebration of, for lack of a better word, sin has been uh, systematically used by these labels since the early 90s. At once upon a time, like you said, there was balance. That's why they call the 90s the golden era, because there was a little bit of everything. For every Luke, there was a poor righteous teacher. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and the labels and the powers that be didn't like that much education going to the masses. So they swayed it. They awarded the ratchetness more than the righteousness, even though at one point the righteousness made just as much money as the ratchetness. You know what I'm saying? 90s proved the concept that people want they want the carbs, they want the fat, and they want the salt. They want everything on their plate. You know what I'm saying? But over time, the labels convince people, nah, you just want this plate full of potatoes. You don't need no meat. You don't need no vegetables. You don't need no fruit for dessert. Eat this fried Oreo. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's the systematic attack that was put on our genre. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna, like, the whole 2000s was a representation of that. And not to beat a man while he's down, but I always kind of blame Puffy for selling hip hop to the capital world. You know what I'm saying? Showing people this is how you capitalize on ignorance, on lower self vibrations, the lower vibration. This is how you package it. And like you said, Biggie didn't talk about nothing positive. But somehow Biggie managed to be my favorite rapper in the late 90s and 2000s because of his skill level. You know what I'm saying? But the subject matters, a lot of those was brought to him by Puffy. You know what I'm saying? And he taught America how to package and sell hip hop. And the easiest way to do that, you know, once you do that at scale, it's always going to be quantity over quality. And ratchetness is like sugar, you know, and sugar is an addiction. You know, once you got to get people hooked on a drug, the drug does the work from here on out. You know what I'm saying?
Sugar is one molecular strand away from cocaine.
Sugar's a drug, and ratchetness is damn near like a drug. You know what I'm saying? And it sells itself. You know, because a lot of these ratchet artists, their crowd is white too. You know what I'm saying? There's more
Absolutely,
black people
absolutely.
in there, but it brings in everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because it's sugar. You know,
The only place you'll really see like an all black crowd is the hood clubs, because white boys ain't come to the hood
ain't
clubs.
coming
So
to
like
the
it's the local super duper hood shit. That's where you see an all black crowd, and it ain't what we call traditional hip hop going on in there. You know what I'm saying?
right
So
for sure.
so hmm, I have so much to say, but I don't want to waste too much of your time. Uh, I really because I really appreciate your perspective as a veteran. You know what I'm saying? Someone who I look up to. Like, you've made the music, you've done it. Like, I'm sure that you've asked this question several times. As far as like, damn, what are black people at? Because I remember Open Mike Eagle. Open Mike Eagle. I can't remember. It's one of them albums he dropped in the last 4 or 5 years. And the last line on the song, uh, what do you say? I'm talking to black kids in an all white crowd. You know what I'm saying? So like, um, so I
or an
guess
immortal
another,
technique. You know, like
yeah,
he's a good example of somebody who's dropping knowledge after knowledge after knowledge, and his crowds have always been white.
Dead Prez, Public Enemies, historically it's been
White.
like that.
Yeah.
Um, so you guys dropped Heartstring Theory last October. You guys did a tour in Europe. Before that, the last album was them Spanish colors. I
Rosa
can't.
Rosa Azura and Jano.
There we go. There we go. The Mexican colors, right? Let me shout out to all my Latinos. No diss, no diss, whatever. But uh, how has so you guys y'all didn't really tour or y'all dropped down to 17, whatever. Boom, you guys. I ain't gonna say took a hiatus. I know you dropped Piece of Power. I know y'all did
The
the
off
the the the,
days.
hey, I love that shit. I love that shit. I loved it. That shit was great. That shit was so much fun. Shout out to Shiesty Price too. That's one of the most slept on MCs. Period.
On Earth. Period.
Period. Like he, uh, I read the code of Hammurabi twice. I got 2 copies. I had to go look up what that shit was. I like what?
He's
So
sensei. He's Master Splinter. You know what I'm saying?
man, look, bro. That's the nigga who I do not want no anybody with red dreads, bro. Like you don't want no smoke. Like
Yeah,
for real, dog. He
that's
built.
hilarious.
You gotta be built different. You know what I mean? So how has the game changed for you as an independent artist, post pandemic, and like now that you guys are dropping music and you know what I'm saying about the tour again? What are some things that you kind of done different to like navigate around the changes post pandemic?
um, I can't say that we did anything different. If anything, during the pandemic, we just took time to absorb life and be regular. You know, it's like as an artist, I feel like it's always good to go through a time of not creating so you can absorb what's to be created next. You know what I'm saying? Like I always tell people, the reason that the artists have a sophomore slump, the second album, is because that first album they spent their whole life formulating, and then at age 21 they bring in 21 years of experience to their debut album, and then their second album drops 2 years later. We'll only have 2 more years of new experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the pandemic, if anything, allowed us to just sit back, eat our popcorn, and absorb what's really going on in the world. And luckily, we were blessed enough to be deep enough into our career where the residual income held us down. You know, so we didn't have to go out and figure out ways to make money. you know, the money was still coming in enough to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, we we sit still for like almost 7 years for real. You know what I'm saying? And the side projects that we did, like the off days, and No did some projects with the homie Sadistic and Built to Fade, the singers that he deals with. Those was just like us scratching that itch of sitting still, but bringing a perspective that we had never really showed on the CunninLynguists side. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is what keeps us both sharp and happy when it comes to making music, is that we'll take time to step off to the side and exercise a different part of our creative brains. And then we come back to CunninLynguists and we're not burnt out on CunninLynguists introspective, melancholy, you know, social justice themes. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you need to, there's nothing wrong with going to the club, every now and then. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of the off days. It was just hey, let's just go, let's just have an album about the cookout. Everything ain't got to be heal the world. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't got to be, we're going to teach the masses. How do you have a song? How do you do a project that isn't about that, but it still represent who you are at the same time? And you're not compromising your integrity or making a stretch like Busta Rhymes and going to get the baby on your album. Like
Right.
how do you show that side? How do you show the world? Hey, I used to listen to Snoop Dogg. I ain't gonna call women bitches and hoes. I ain't gonna, I'm not gonna pass the woman around the room, nothing like that. But it's like I can show my affinity and my appreciation for women as a conscious backpack rapper. We have sex too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and some people they don't want to give space for that. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned Snoop Dogg because I don't. I'm not a. I don't smoke. I drink every now and then, whatever. Y'all make the best drug songs. Like Cloud 92 is my shit.
Because we staying
Cloud
true
90,
to who we are. You know what I'm saying?
Cloud 90, like that shit is so like I can't relate to none of it because I ain't never been. The last time I hit. Hope my kids ain't listening. The last time I hit the button, I caught the flu, so I'm done. I don't.
That's hilarious.
Straight up. About a year ago too.
Traumatized.
Yeah. I'm not a smoker at all. Like passing somebody, whatever. But post COVID, motherfuckers shouldn't be sharing a blunt no way. But
Thanks.
but like Cloud 92, bro, that shit is so beautiful. Like like that shit makes sound getting fucked up. Like
And that song is about mushrooms. That's a
right.
whole nother experience. It's psychedelic.
Okay, see, I didn't so I look as a non drug dude, I don't know. Whatever. But so how important, so one thing I see you guys do, you guys stay re-releasing physical merchandise, right?
Yeah.
So how if you were independent underground hip hop artist, turn on your tape. Well, I'm dating myself. Turn on your tape decks. Push record right now. How important, especially post pandemic, especially as a touring act, especially y'all be bleeding the fuck out of Bandcamp, which I love. How important has making sure that you're still selling physical music been?
It's everything. I mean, number one, any artist that ever starts, I tell them, look, I don't care if you got 10 fans, 100 fans, 1,000 fans, sell them something. Whether it's, even if it's not a media, even if it's a t-shirt or a headband or socks or whatever, we live ever since Napster and ever since everything's become digitized and the rise of the MP3 and all of that, music is no longer an artifact. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like it don't exist. If Spotify and Apple and all these companies and Tidal went out of business, where would your music be? You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? So it's like as as a musician, it's important, I feel, to create what I call an artifact. You got to give the people something they can touch and feel that's real. You know what I'm saying? That's not digital. And that endears you to people differently. And these days there's no excuse. You can press one vinyl. You know what I'm saying? You can press 10 vinyl. It's like you don't have these 5,000, quota limits you got to hit to be able to approach a pressing plant. So if you got 100 fans, 10 of them are gonna buy something from you, if you got something for sale. If you got 1,000, 100 gonna buy something. If you got 10,000, 1,000 gonna buy something. So don't overextend yourself. Be realistic about your ability and your capacity to sell, but always sell, because people taking pictures of your stuff on Instagram and putting it on their reels and holding up your stuff and saying this is my favorite vinyl, or like right here, I got vinyl just propped up all around the house. It's Red Fox. This could be any artist's album, and every time somebody comes over, that's an advertisement. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting. It's a talk piece. We press our stuff on cassette tape. You say you're dating yourself. We put out our last 5 albums on cassette tape. We probably gonna put the Heartstring Theory on cassette tape. Now we ain't gonna press 1,000 of them, but we'll press 150. And they're gonna sell. I think that's the most important thing, and it's the highest profit margin. You get 200,000 plays on Spotify, they're gonna send you a $200 check. You know what I'm saying? You press 10 vinyl and sell them for $40 a piece, you'd have made more money than 200,000 streams, and you just sold to 10 people. You know what I'm saying? So it just physically makes more sense to always, create merchandise, physical merchandise. Because people ain't even buying the records and the CDs and the tapes to play. They're buying them to put on their bookshelf so that the guests at their house can look around and know who they are, what they're into. Oh, I'm into conscious rap. I'm into this. I'm into that. It becomes an ornament basically in their home. That's why I'm saying it don't have to be a vinyl. It can be a T-shirt. It can be a headband. It can be whatever. But sell them something.
So man, you said, man. So rappers, I hope you paid attention. I hope y'all screen recording this and making this your mantra. He just gave you the game. This is how I always look at it. When, to me, I'm primarily a touring artist. I definitely sell a lot of stuff on Bandcamp, but I'm primarily a touring artist at this point. I don't think a lot of younger artists, I think they think streaming numbers, they think followers. I don't think they think fan base. And to me, I gauge a fan base off of who actually spends their real time and their real money with you, right?
Right.
Who's actually coming to your shows and buying tickets, who's coming to your merch table. And so one of my big homies, I call my big cousin, name is Poe Mac. He's out in Virginia. He made a post like 10 years ago, and I live by this. And I was already doing it, but it was very rudimentary, but he said it in a way. He said, if you go do a full set of rapping, performing, and you don't have any merchandise to sell, you could have accomplished the exact same thing getting in the freestyle cipher. Like I see so many artists, and I get it, like a lot of these younger artists, they didn't grow up buying CDs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, if you think about it, like rappers don't even have clothing brands anymore. Like, at least there was Rocker wearing Sean John at one point. So it's like, like the thought of them of them being an artist and selling their own merchandise with their name on it is kind of foreign. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they don't even think about that. They don't think about trying to build a fan base. They think about trying to get followers and things of that nature. And it's just like it's about making connections with people. It's about like you guys have been in the y'all dropped your first album, what, 2001?
2001, yeah.
So y'all coming up with 25 years of creating dope ass hip hop. People have grown up their whole lives with y'all. People who were in high school now are
taking their kids to high school.
Taking their kids to high school, got their kids in college, whatever, right? Because of the personal connection with your music. And so that's why they'll spend $50 on the vinyl, or they'll spend $15 on the CD that might not take out of that plastic. Mm-hmm. Because it's all, and that's how to me, that's how you create longevity. You make those personal connections. Like, I knew it was real when I was already selling my merchandise. I've always done that or whatever. My father was an independent musician, so I absolutely used to work his merch table when he went to go sing or whatever. But I knew it was really real when in 2013, right when Run the Jewels first started. And this is like literally like they played in a venue called Spanish Moon, and it's a 400 cap room, and they didn't even sell it out, right? So This is like they dropped in like April. This show was in August, so it's still, but Run the Jewels is an infant, right?
Yep.
After their set, LP and Mike went to the merch booth and worked their own merch table.
Yep.
And so like why the hell would I not sell merchandise if
Yeah, man.
Killer Mike, Killer Mike, who's already a Grammy winner,
Yeah.
is next to me? What size you need? Oh, you need a 2X, you need a 1X. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
that
it's so
endears. That's how you endear yourself. You know, every show we've ever done for 25 years. As soon as we get off stage, we go backstage, we change T-shirts, we come out to the merch table, and we shake hands. And many nights we sold our own merch. But it's about shaking your fans, touching your fans, hugging your fans, taking pictures with your fans. You know, and just that real connection. You know.
and they will. So for me, what I do is every time. So every region that I go to, so I have the the real MCs don't rap over vocal. I'm sure I've flooded your timeline with my tags, right? And that's
Real
been my.
MCs don't rap over vocals. Let
Hey,
me
look,
get
look,
that out
look.
the way.
Hey, look. That's a whole nother conversation, right? But that's been the biggest part of my brand that has made me a lot of money. Blah 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 blah. But whatever city I go to, whatever region I go to, I look at the different sports teams in the region, and I make my merch based off of that colorway.
Nice.
So when I go to New England, I know you got the Patriots. I know
Yeah,
you got the Red
that's smart as
Sox.
hell.
I know you got the Celtics, and I know you got the Bruins. So it's gonna
See,
be red and blue.
yeah,
It's gonna be whatever. And I have people who have generations of my merch. Like when I go to New England, from the first railroad design back in 2019 up until now, I'll go into a room and I'll see 20 to 30 people with different colorways and variants of my
yeah.
music. Yes. Oh man, look, I had a dude from Boston. He couldn't even make the show. He was like, "Yo, I can't make the weather's bad. I can't make it to New Hampshire, but I'm gonna send somebody because I want that new railroad that you just dropped."
Mm-hmm.
So he sent somebody to come to the venue to buy it and bring it back to him, right? So it's that personal connection, and it's like people are literally paying you
To promote you,
to promote you. And so now when they walk out with this
literally.
railroad shirt, or when they walk out with this, what I'm saying, the heartstring theory with the big heart on it, it's just like whatever. So that's something that I just wish like artists would really pay attention to. And like honestly, like streams don't pay shit. The venues and the promoters don't. Well, I know at least for me, y'all might be different, but Live Nation bought up a lot of these venues. So now I'm seeing like a lot of even the legendary acts are having to play smaller venues because
Yeah,
the big act, you know what I'm saying. And so people ain't paying as much. The way you offset all that shit is that
merchandise.
goddamn merch table. And then when it's slow outside, having the shit on your Bandcamp, having the shit on your
Yep,
website.
yep. And then you got hella companies coming along that support the independent artists in ways that they'll press and ship and do the customer service for you. You know, you just send them your file, send them your artwork. They put it, they'll do all the packaging and distributing for you. So it's getting even easier. You know, for
Big
most of
shout out
our
to Kunaki. I use Kunaki, and I ain't gonna lie, it's basic jewel CDs, whatever. But you can get they went up after the pandemic. But you can get a run of 25 for like $60, 25 CDs. All you gotta do is upload everything. They drop ship everything. So when you
yeah, exactly.
I
You know,
I, I always get like probably about 100. You know what I'm saying, just to have on me when I'm going on the road or whatever. But plus the people want autographs. But most of the time, if you don't ask for an autograph, boom, it's on Kunaki. I go ship it. You order a CD, literally 10 minutes. I'm shipping it the exact same time.
right,
So
right,
like,
right.
yeah.
Now,
Um,
so it's getting easier. You know, it's getting easier.
I tell the people, man, I start smoking all that. If y'all save money, stop smoking all that bad dope y'all smoking. You know what I'm saying? You don't need that ounce, man. Buy you some shirts. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That
yep.
dope y'all that weed is trash anyways, man. You don't all right. On to the last question. We talked about off air, we talked about the heartstring theory, right? Um, you dropped the EP, which is incredible, back in October. Um, and this is uh you said you moved back to Lexington, you know what I'm saying? And you was like, uh, you said, moving back from Atlanta to Lexington dealing with a divorce. I said, is that what the EP is about? And you was about to answer. I said, wait. I said, this might be interesting. And not so much to be nosy in your business, but like how one thing, and you know this, man, especially being an underground hip hop artist, and like when you make your bones touring or whatever, like balance and family is important.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So if you want to talk, if you want to talk about heartstring theory, if you want to talk about how, what the influences were, what I'm saying, for you about the Alabaster and disasters and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? I would I think we would love to hear about that.
So, I am, I try to always find accountability. I'm not, within myself, you know what I'm saying? So, when there's a divorce, generally both sides play the part in that divorce. Even if one cheats, which there was no infidelity in my the reason for my divorce, but even if one cheats, it could be the actions of the person that drove a person to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there should always be a time, I feel like, when a relationship ends, especially a marriage, where you really look at yourself and be like, what could I have done better? Or what about me do I not want to take into my next relationship that can put me back in the same scenario again? You know what I'm saying? So fresh out of my marriage, that's the space that I went into. I went into introspective mode. I even went to Mexico, sat with a shaman, did ayahuasca. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I spent a whole week in the Mayan rainforest with no electricity. You feel me? Like, really, truly going deep within. And before I got a divorce, I had never so much as meditated. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't even that dude that was, thinking about metaphysics and the different dimensions and the high self, the low self, the chakras. I wasn't thinking about none of that. You know what I'm saying? But like in my journey post divorce, it took me through all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so the concept of the heartstring theory started with really what I just learned about what resonated with me when it comes to metaphysics. So when I went to know and Natty, I was like, hey man, what if we did an album called String Theory? The heart wasn't even on there yet. I was like, what if we did an album called String Theory? And the string theory, for those that don't know, is pretty much just the theory and metaphysics that everything and everybody is connected. And by literal particles, string particles. I'm connected to you right now. Like, I'm connected to all my family members, anybody that I've ever came across. That we're all just connected. It's just a theory. We're all connected. We're connected to the animals, to the trees, to the birds, to the bees. Everything's connected. So I was like, what if we did an album that was about that? And we just, had a lot of violins, and it could be a double entendre. We're using stringed instruments. We're using this, that, and the other. CunninLynguists, we always real nerdy with our concepts. And then No was wise enough, really, to look at me and what I was going through and was like, man, what if we call it the heartstring theory? You know what I'm saying? And to him, it was a play off of the low end theory by a Tribe Called Quest. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, it's like a silent homage to Tribe Called Quest. And you got you
Yo.
you got heartstrings. You can pluck heartstrings, and then the string theory. So it's tying it all together. You know what I'm saying? And then I just started writing. I was writing faster and ahead of Natty at the time. And so, at this point, we really got about 18 songs. We only put out 4. Eventually all 18 are gonna come out, and then listening to those 18 songs, yeah, you're gonna hear all about this divorce, and you're gonna hear all about my introspection and my ayahuasca trip and all that. You know what I'm saying? All that's in there. So I'm not afraid to talk about it because I've already wrote about it. You know what I'm saying? It's I've already put it into songs and hooks and melodies and all that. But basically, what I brought that was I feel like was the biggest contributor to the demise of my marriage was, for years I struggled with anxiety and didn't know that it was anxiety because growing up in the Black culture, therapy and all that ain't is got a negative stigma about it. You know what I'm saying? Every Black OG feels like they don't need no therapist. They don't need no this, no that. So I didn't have no role models in that way to even talk to a therapist. But in the last few years of my marriage and even past divorce, I had a therapist, and the therapist was like, nigga, you got anxiety. And I'm like, ain't what, nigga? I got anxiety. Like, nigga, I'm a people person. Nigga, I perform in front of crowds, blah, blah, blah. And the way she broke it down, Yeah, nigga, I had anxiety pretty bad, and I had just came up with coping mechanisms to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? That I didn't even recognize as coping mechanisms, but I had several. And one by one, as I removed them, the anxiety got it was more evident as something that, oh wow, I got to really like dive into this and figure this out. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be all on the heartstring theory. I know I
I
wrote all
can't wait.
about it.
I
You know what I'm
can't wait,
saying?
bro.
Like
I
I talk
can't wait.
about it in deep, dark detail. You know what I'm saying?
And like I'm listening to you talk, and just even the 4 songs that's on the EP, I'm like,
There's one of them where I really kind of give a preview. You know what I'm saying? When your world falls apart. You know what I'm saying? Like on that song, you get a glimpse. You know what I'm
and you talk about the strings. It starts off with the strings added. Then man, that's god damn, bro.
saying? Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how you know I broke a heart, and I hope not to break no more. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. You know, but it all begins with self love, and the more you focus on self care, self love, the more likely you are to successfully love someone else. You know what I'm saying? And that's my contribution to the project. You know.
I don't want to. I don't want to say nothing to mess this interview up because that is a great place to stop. Like if anything, I'm a rant and ramble. So let me ask you this: when is the full album going to? Is it going? What's the name of the album? When is the full album going to drop? What you guys got planned for 25?
So we're gonna drop another EP that is the part two. It'll be about 4 or 5 more songs. It's the next EP will be Bandcamp only, just like the first one, and that will probably come out in the next few months, 2 3 months. And then by the end of the year, we're going to put out what we can consider to be a deluxe version. It's going to have the the 8 or so songs from the first 2 EPs, along with 10 more songs. So it'll be like 17, 18 songs total. Uh, but all of it's just going to be called Heartstring Theory.
Y'all kind of did the last album like that, right? Y'all dropped it in different sections,
Yeah, we
then
dropped
dropped this.
Rose, then we dropped Azura, then we dropped Njano, and that was just the primary colors. You know, just the primary colors: red, blue, and yellow. You know, but yeah, this one's just gonna be Heartstring Theory EP Part One, Heartstring Theory EP Part Two, and then Heartstring Theory LP. You know, and we're not really concerned with for this album. We're not really concerned with sales and all that. This is really just honestly knocking the dust off after sitting still for 7 years. Because as we're working on this, we're also working on other things. Like we plan to bombard people with music for the next 3 years.
Are we gonna get a piece of power too?
Yes, it's not gonna be called that though, but yes, I'm
Oh,
gonna do another
it's
solo.
been it's been 10 years, man.
You gonna get another niggas with latitude. I don't know if you heard
Woo!
that.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we doing another one of them. It's gonna be called Niggalodian.
um, that's crazy, Nickelodeon. That's amazing. Um, you because on Piece of Power, using your full church bag on that one.
I was.
Using and I loved it. Like as a son of a gospel musician, like using your full like you know what I'm saying. You probably recorded that in the choir stand. Damn, that sound like you know what I mean. Uh, you know what I mean. Um, Deke, I appreciate you. This has been an honor and a privilege. Oh, for people who don't know, right? People who do not know, um, Deacon the Villain he blessed me with 2 incredible verses that is on the title track, the Black Dilemma, which drops, you know what I'm saying, Friday. By the time, well, it drops tomorrow, but it'll be whatever. It's right now. Go to marcelpblack.bandcamp.com. Go to all the streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying. Deacon the Villain is on there. I send you? I didn't send you the second version, did I?
Nah.
Dollar Black. As soon as we get off, I'm gonna send it to you. Like
Yep.
I,
Yep.
yeah. You and Dollar Black versus so cold. I did something different. You know what I'm saying to kind of like whatever. But yeah. marcelpblack.bandcamp.com. All streamers. The Black Dilemma. Deacon the Villain is my bucket list, super special guest. Blessed me with 2 verses, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. You're going to see us doing a whole lot more work in the future, sir. I thoroughly appreciate the time you've given me, the wisdom you've given me. Just hopping on my Zoom with my daughter coming in the room and the fan in the background. I really appreciate that, man.
You good?
It's been an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege. Like I said, where can they find you online, D?
Right now I'm on the social media detox, so
That's right.
I ain't even got nothing, But I'm gonna come out of retirement tomorrow so I can share this song to the Facebook and the Cunninlyguists fans and stuff. When the Black DLMA drop. But yeah, just Dick DeVille, DeacTheVillain on Instagram. And that's pretty much the only social media I ever really use is Instagram, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
And the group website is
CunninLynguists.com.
CunninLynguists.com.
Yeah,
But then they go crazy on Bandcamp too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So make sure you go to the
Bandcamp
Bandcamp.
held us down. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Yeah, go
Right.
to CunninLynguists.com. It'll have links to all of everywhere you can find Cunninlyguists music and our socials and all that.
All right, cool. Stay on after we get off. I want to holler at you about something real quick. All right, for
Okay.
everybody else out there in Blackout, it really Outchea podcast land, in Black Dilemma, I appreciate y'all. Allah Mahabe freedom.